Good morning. I'm back.
Well, first of all, sorry I'm late, but
I'm happy to be back. I'm here to play.
There are some things I want to say.
I'm gonna make it real brief. Y'all had 2 weeks to do y'all's talking, let me do mine.
Alright, I'm back from holiday. Sorry if I'm a bit groggy. I only had 1 hour sleep the last couple of days, but thought I'd get this video out there before it was too far past the tour down under. And here you can see we just went past the roundabout. That's the start of the old Willunga Hill climb. So this is the most famous climb in the tour down under. I'm pretty sure it's the one Richie Port has won this year and the years before. And it's a great climb. 3k, about 7.5%, 8% average. Nice gradual climb. And you can roll up it, you can punch it, you can do whatever on it. Great climb for intervals. So with Bora, we did two reps of this, the 2 race laps. They were doing a recon, just easy. So they just did this at high zone 2. And the race lap is you go up the climb, then you go left onto a ridge for about 3 kilometres, then nice sharp descent, then you come back left around. During the night, I nearly got me with that spit. And then back into Willunga town, and that's the loop. I think it's about 10 kilometres. So we did that, 2 reps, nice bit of training sandwiched in between riding to and from Adelaide out on the rollers. So it was about 4 hours in all, and super fun, great day out. It was about 30 degrees, so I didn't mind it too much. It's dry heat in Adelaide, but a little bit warm for maybe some of the Euro guys, but when you got a DS handling your water, it's not so bad. So at the start of the climb, I don't think Bora really knew what the game plan was, re-intervals or power, because they're sort of not doing too much. And then I think Jay McCarthy on this rep went up the road and he did a pretty firm interval himself, but all the other guys just settled in, and Sagan goes back to the car, I think. So Jay comes up on the left there and realises it's time for him to do a hard interval, and the other guys I'm 60 kilos, so I did 270 watts for this climb, starting easy, finishing a bit harder, so 4.5 watts per kilo, and so I think the other guys were just told to sit on 300 on the front and just roll up and have a look, really. But you can see, like, everyone's cadence is pretty low because this is a little pinch point at the start. Comment down below, is this where Port attacked this year? Because I was on the hill, so I couldn't watch it on TV, so I don't actually know where Port launched his attack. Was it at this like 10-11% pinch point, or further up the road? Because this is still probably about 2k from the finish, so I'm not quite sure when he launched. But see Christian on the right, another one of these vegan dudes that seem to be ubiquitous around Adelaide this time of year, and his lack of protein led to him being left on the side of the road, and he was subsequently picked up by some paleo riders who actually dropped Bora whilst in ketosis. But anyway, enough of me ragging on the vegan diet. I do it too much probably. We're just sitting in here, and I'd like to thank everyone for the roast comments on the how to climb full gas with Durum Rider video. Really appreciated them. They made me feel warm inside and made me really enjoy riding my bike and putting up YouTube videos. So Adelaide, when should you come to Adelaide? When should you come for the Tour Down Under? Well, if you want to ride with the pros and ride on the roads when they're not as busy, then I reckon the week before the tour is actually the best week to ride, because the only people on the roads are locals and the pros getting the training in. Whereas the next week, yeah, it's fantastic, the atmosphere and all of that, but for, if you're going up Willunga on the Willunga stage day, which I did, you're literally pushing your bike up because there's that many people there. So if you actually want to enjoy all the famous climbs and do them all with the scenery and sort of tranquility, then I reckon the week before is better for just long endurance rides. So yeah, I skipped 2 minutes a bit because we pretty much they sat on high zone 2, I think, and just rolled up it. I thought twice about putting my power data up on this, but then I realised Jay McCarthy, Bora don't seem to have a blanket ban on their riders putting their power data up or their rides on social media. So his power data is on Strava, and other Bora riders have their rides on Strava. So I don't think it's that big a deal me having my 3-second power on the side there, and it also like that's my power. The power they're doing is completely different, and I mean, big whoop. They're doing it's an endurance ride. It's not like they're doing intervals, and you can see their 20-second power PB. So I don't think it's a big deal putting the power data up. But anyway, so if you did want to go for a ride with the pros, what's the go-to? I reckon next year I'm definitely going to try and go with smaller teams, just because I felt bad being in a group before with Bora. They didn't seem to mind. Like, the riders said it wasn't a big deal, and I asked Sam Bennett also, who was the Lanterne Rouge in the Tour de France, and I forgot to mention that when I was speaking to him. But anyway, they didn't seem to mind because there's 4 of us. But I think if you want to actually have a chat to them and, you know, not annoy the DS too much, then probably 1 or 2 riders, or definitely 1 or 2 riders is better. What training should you do to do like a 5-hour endurance ride with the pros, and then, you know, keep riding throughout the week and do like a 550, 600k week? Well, it's just get the Ks in the legs, really. Like, if you want to do, ended up being a 160k ride with maybe 1800 meters climbing, and you know, just every climb was at sort of my sweet spot. So just constant sweet spot climbs, constant climbs at 90% of my threshold for 4 hours. When we're doing riding with Bora, it was easier back in. You just need to do endurance rides, and I've only been training for a year since a spinal injury. I just do 4-hour rides at Zone 2 with a lot of climbing, and the climbing inevitably is, you know, there's a bit of threshold work in there without having to think about it too much. Occasionally I'll go and do 3 by 12 minute FTP reps on Cootha Front, and sometimes like I'll do 2 by 20 sweet spot work up either Mount Me or the Goat Track, but pretty much just cruising around at Zone 2 doing long endurance rides. And that's why, if I'm no good in a 1 hour, you know, chain gang, or I've never done a race or a criterium, because it's just different physiological requirements. These guys, if they decided to snap and actually do an interval or something, I obviously couldn't follow them. But if you want to go on a long endurance ride with them, where they're just doing in Zone 2, you can do it if you've just done some base endurance training and you actually have the Ks in the legs, where you know how much you need to eat to do 160 kilometers at a reasonable intensity, and you know how much water you need, and understand your body and ride at good cadence for that period of time and be comfortable in the saddle. Whereas if you do sort of 1 hour river loops all the time and don't really have Ks in the legs, or you're not as experienced, then you're going to end up out in the middle of the South Australian countryside in a spot of bother. So, does anyone know, is Sagan on the tarmac or the Venge? Because I actually not that great at telling the difference between the two, but I think it looked like he was riding the tarmac for this training ride, and I know he rides the Venge in races, obviously, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's more comfortable. Maybe the back brake works a lot better because it's a proper brake on the tarmac. And was there anything I noticed in particular about the pros riding? Not really. Just to get it done attitude. They make it fun. Like, they joke around, they chat, just like any other bunch. Really, it's just they know what they have to do. There's no complaining. They just get it done. And it's something that I really want to apply to my riding. It's great seeing that mentality and that focus. And even though, like, I'm just a hobby rider, it's good seeing when you are on the bike, you know, why not try and adopt that pro attitude? You know, even if you're doing the same activity, we've pretty much all got the same equipment, and although they have much different energy systems and like fitness and endurance and all the support systems, when you are on the bike, you can control your mind the same way a pro rider can if you choose to, and you can apply yourself to intervals or training or consistency or getting up in the morning the same way they do. So that was something that was really good to see. I don't know if that was an actual FDJ rider on the left. He didn't really look like one, but he was in all the kit. And I think he was on a Lapierre with oval wheels. So I don't know if that was actually an FDJ rider. I don't think it was. But anyway, we're coming to the end of the Willunga climb now. It's ramping up a little bit. And then I'll take this spot to give my own channel a little plug. So comment down below any rides you want to see. Do you want to see ride vlogs? you want to see racing? I mean, if people tell me to race, I'll do some racing, although I'm not too fussed either way. Do you want to see just training stuff, power data analysis, what software I use, what else is there, diet stuff? I know I'm obviously go pretty hard on the diet stuff, so I might pump some more of those videos out. But I was thinking I've got a full how to set up a power-based training plan series coming up, a 5-part video series. Each will be long and in-depth, and that'll be based on the Hunter, Allen and Coggan model, but using the Golden Cheetah software. And all you'll need is a power meter to follow along with that if you want to, or if you're just interested to see how to set up pretty much a professional training plan. And people probably asking, oh, why are you doing that? You know, why bother doing that? Well, A, for starters, I'm going to be pretty time pressured with work soon, so I need to be able to getting quality hours in, so setting up a plan is important for that. B, I just like the numbers and the nerdy stuff, and obviously some other dudes do as well. That's why, like Shane Miller, his channel's all on the tech stuff and some of the power stuff, so I find it really interesting, and hopefully some other people do as well. And C, I just like getting really fit, and I think training with the power meter and training to a plan is the optimal way to get the most out of your time on the bike and get super fit, so that when I, get opportunities like I did second day in Adelaide, during ride was like, come along, meet here, and we'll go for a ride with Pora. You can do it, and I thought we were going to do a 30k ride, 40k ride maybe, and then we're about 2 hours in. I was like, Harley, you know where we're going today? And he's like, yeah, Willunga. And I was like, oh, okay, how far is that? And he's like, oh, 155. But, case, I was like, oh, when you have when you've done some of the endurance training and that's what you've trained for, it's not that big a deal. Whereas if my longest ride was 100k's, I would have freaked out. But the benefit of being the pro rider, you get your team car at the top for refills with water, have a little sit down, have a chat, see how the day was going, see how everyone's feeling. I think Sagan had some tinkering with his shoe. They're always tinkering. And maybe get a plan for the rest of the ride, what they're doing. I think Jay asked during ride how they could get some extra Ks in or where the race loop was. And you can see there, during rider's diet's not working. He's so fat compared to the pro riders, and he needs to cut down on the carbs so he can lose some weight. Like that guy's always talking about his diet and how he looks like a pro rider. Well, you be the judge. There he is side by side with 3 of them. Does he look as lean as a pro rider? I think not. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this was interesting. I think I've exhausted my content for 2 Down Under footage. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like, dislike, leave abusive comments, subscribe. Ciao.